Hello everyone, this is Genius Yoshi, and today we are playing some Amethyst-Steel. And why are we playing Amethyst-Steel? Because we want to sweep away the competition using Mickey Mouse and his brooms. So in the first chapter we've had Magic Broom, the Bucket Brigade, which is mostly a broom with benefits. And we've also gotten Mickey Mouse, the Wayward Sorcerer, 3/4, gives you a discount on brooms, and whenever your brooms get banished during combat, they bounce back to your hand, which is a really good ability. But we only had the one broom. Now, with Rise of Floodborn, we've gotten a second broom, so it's time to take them to the floor and start sweeping. We have the industrial model, 2, 3, 4, 3, and when you play it, you give resist to another character you own. Alright, that's a nice ability. Resist is pretty good, and it's going to last for one full turn cycle. It's very similar to the mouse armor. And speaking of mouse armors, we should probably add a couple. Just because having multiple resists on one character during one turn can give you some pretty board-changing statistics. So that's the base of our deck. Pretty thin base so far. So what else are we going to be playing around these cards? Well, we're going after some combat-based mechanics here. We have some earlier cards that bounce back in the hand after the combats. So that actually is very similar to another effect from another good card that we've gotten with Rise of Floodborn with Fairy Godmother Mystic Armor. So with Mystic Armor in play, we can quest with her, give a big challenger to our brooms, and they'll bounce back to our hand even if we don't have Mickey. So Fairy Godmother, while not being as good with the brooms as the Wayward Sorcerer, she gives us a bit of redundancy on the ability. So now we essentially have 8 brooms and 8 Mickey Godmothers, essentially. We do have some redundancy with the resist. So far, we're fairly consistent with what we're trying to achieve with just 18 cards, I know. We're not that far yet. Okay, so what else should we be playing? Well, since we're going to be playing some Steel and Amethyst, and our curve is right now kind of middle early, let's fill in our top end first. So Steel, Amethyst have these fantastic top end with Tinkerbell, Giant Fairy, and Isma's actually another pretty good one. Isma's going to act as our removal, and so is Tinkerbell. And we can combine those with good old Grab Your Sword, because if we're going to be playing combat, and we're going to be including these 5 and 6 drops, then Grab Your Sword is a nice inclusion. And now we can go a whole new world to give us the draw and the double song type of strategy, which is a good way to go. But for variety's sake, I'm going to go after the Beast for the draw engine. So we have access to the Tragic Hero, Beast, most expensive card in Rise of Floodborn at the moment, and for good reasons. It's a nice inkable top-end threat that draws you an extra card every turn, as long as it doesn't have any damage. Alright, so now we have some nice inkable 5 to 6. We need to focus back on the middle and lower end of our curve. So the brooms aren't the best at combat, so we're going to be adding a couple of Rafikis just to keep the opponent in check. Again, our curve is kind of mid-rangey, and without having access to 1-drops or too many super good enter the battlefield abilities, I mean the brooms do have them, but they're not fantastic. I do prefer Rafiki over Madam Min in this case. And if we are going to go after Beast for the card draw and the recursion of Mickey Mouse and Fairy Godmother, we might as well go with Friends on the Other Side as another powerful draw spell, especially when we have somewhat solid cards like Mickey Mouse and Magic Broom Industrial Model that can easily sing the Friends on the Other Side. Okay. Other cards that I really liked when playing Steel are Jafar the Royal Vizier, 3/2 that can challenge evasive, and mostly his stronger counterpart, the Dreadnought. Jafar Dreadnought, 3/4, 4/4, and another way to draw cards through combat, which is really the theme of the deck. Get the recursion, get the brooms back, get creatures back with Fairy Godmother, extra draw from Jafar, friends on the other side, and Beast. So our draw is pretty much set at this point, which is pretty good. So now we're looking to complete our curve, and there's this little wonder here, Benja, Guardian of the Dragon Gem. Always a solid card to play. If you get to take out an artifact with it, man, is that good value. If you don't, well, you can ink it. Or otherwise, it's still a 2/3 questing for 2 character. Just decent stats for a 3-drop, with a wonderful ability when it hits. Alright, and now we're missing 8 cards. 8 cards. What do we want to do with this? Well, we don't have a 1-drop, and our 2-drop lineup it's okay with Jafar and the Brooms and the Mouse Armor. But we need a little bit of help there, and I really like Captain Hook Forceful Duelist. Still really good at taking control early on and forcing the opponent not to quest aggressively, because you can take out Simba and pretty much anything that costs 1 or 2. Even causes some problems to the Madam Mins. So I like a full playset of Captain Hooks. And that leaves us with 4 slots remaining. I'm going to go with a pair of HeiHeis. Mostly because I need still a little bit more in that 1 to 2 drop slot. And HeiHei goes after the recursive ability of bouncing back to our hand when it gets banished into combat. And let's go on the other far side and add in a pair of Elsa's Spirit of Winter. Elsa's really good when most of our removal is combat based. We can force some combats with Elsa. Also, our removal outside of combat has been Tinkerbell and Grab Your Sword. We do have Isma, but giving the opponent some card draw is not the best. So Elsa is really nice at forcing those combats, dealing with these high willpower threats, and we could afford a little bit more uninkables in our deck. And that completes the list of the Brooms trying to sweep our opponent with nice card draw, nice balance of removal, and really just a solid mid-range shell overall with just the team of the Brooms and some recursion. The deck is pretty solid even if you remove the Brooms and the Mickey Mouse package and replace it with your other favorite 2, 3, 4 drops in Steel Amethyst. It's a nice list to play, and all that remains is to check it out in action with some games. We find Fairy Godmother, Jafar, Hook, pair of Steel Brooms, and Isma and a Mickey Mouse. And we're going first. I like that line. I like it a lot. We get to try out the Steel Brooms. Then we have a Captain Hook which we can protect. Isma's going to go to the ink pile as we resolve the good old Captain Hook. 1/2 Challenger 2, so it becomes a 3/2 on the offensive. Very good removal type character, and with 2 willpower at that, not even that weak to Tinkerbell. As the opponent resolves a Flynn Rider, link a Jafar so that we can play our Mouse Armor. Might as well quest with Captain Hook. That Flynn can't touch this because we have Mouse Armor on. Oh no, opponent's playing discard. And we have the perfect hand. Opponent plays a Simba. Let's ink the Fairy Godmother. And using the Magic Broom and the Mouse Armor, we're going to make Captain Hook a very big threat that can't challenge Simba because Simba is not exerted. Simba needs to be exerted. You're playing the bodyguard without bodyguarding. So I guess I just wasted a Magic Brooms trigger. Oh well. It's still Brooms on the battlefield. Prince John comes in. And we're gonna have to ink our Tinkerbell. Resolve our Mickey while we can. And we can quest with the Brooms. Can we quest with the hook? Yeah, we can quest with the hook. Null protect hook. Because Mickey Mouse is kind of protecting the magic Brooms. Opponent would need to swing at it with Simba and Flynn, bounce it back to our hand, and then get us to discard 3 cards to make it worth it. Inking a sudden chill. Now that's never a good sign. Fortunately, we have to discard the rest of our hand, and our opponent gets a mid full of cards in the exchange. Alright, opponent does decide to go take out the magic Broom, which bounces it back to our hand thanks to Mickey's ability. Do you have another discard spell? No. It appears to have just been a misstep. That means we're going to be allowed to play the magic Brooms again. Which I think we want that more than Rafiki. Go Brooms! Let's go and take out Simba. Taking 1 point of damage. Quest with Mickey, and I want to give the armor to Mickey. Keeping Mickey alive is very important for this strategy to work. Especially considering our opponent has a ton of cards and we don't. Then that Rafiki is going to hit the graveyard, then give our opponent another card. And there it is. We have to discard Rafiki. Opponent inks another Simba. Okay. A Mickey Mouse comes in. Oh, and we find a nice Broom. That's a good pickup. That Broom's going to allow us to recycle a card from our deck. The magic Brooms. Which, thanks to Mickey, should allow us to keep them alive for a little while. I think I'm going to keep Mickey unexerted at this point. Although, how much can the opponent hit it? 2? Yeah, we're behind. We're way behind on cards. Let's give it a... I take a mouse armor. He is a mouse after all, so he fits right into the armor. The opponent needs a bit of extra power to take it out. Amber doesn't have that much surprise removal. Opponent takes down Hook. That is fair. Goes to Quest with Flynn. I'm half expecting a big Flynn to get dropped on the opponent's battlefield. Oh, a Pete. Okay. So Pete can hit for a ton. We'll have to be careful about that. As we find another Broom. Brooms, Brooms, Brooms. Well, it's a 1-drop Broom, so we can play them. You can recycle. Let's give our opponent Have You Forgotten Me, which is completely useless at this point. Now we can take out Mickey with our Brooms. And replay the Brooms to the battlefield unexerted. We can quest for 4. Or we can take out the Flynn Rider and quest with 1 Broom. You can also give back the opponent a sudden chill. improving our chance that they're getting bad draws. We can also take out John. Yeah, we should probably be taking out Prince John. Alright, let's take out Prince John. For free. Let's go deal some damage to that Mickey. Bounce back to Brooms. Thanks to Mickey's ability. Play it again. And give our opponent another bad draw with Sudden Shell. Let's see what they find. Daisy Duck. Another discard outlet. Now again, there is always the option of taking out our Broom, bouncing it to our hand, and then forcing us to discard it. That is an option. So at some point we're going to have to use Mickey's ability to quest. We also can't fall too far behind on the questing. Especially since Pete can quest for a lot. Ooh! Fairy Godmother. I really need to play this. I don't have the ink for it. But that's okay. I can ink one of those Brooms. Alright, alright. So I want to take out the Simba. Probably take out the Flynn. Okay, so take out the Simba first. Broom comes back. Broom goes to the ink. Play the Godmother. That's what we want to do, which means we don't have any ink left. Then we can... Well, Godmother can give... How much again? Challenger 3. Well, let's go for this. Your Brooms are going to take out Simba and live with quite a bit of health. You're going to take out the Flynn and live. And we'll pass with that. Ooh, a big queen. Now, as much as Fairy Godmother is good at manipulating combat, the queen is very strong herself. The opponent decides to go to combat with the Daisy Duck. And with Mickey. As long as there's no "you have forgotten me." Actually, the opponent doesn't have ink to play it. So we're fine. And we find a Tinkerbell. Alright, we can give Challenger 3 to Mickey, so Mickey can take out Pete. Pete hits for 3. I think we're going to have to ink one of our Brooms now. So we can ping out Daisy and take out Pete. The Brooms did their job and now they're bouncing back and getting reutilized as ink. Actually, I don't even need Fairy Godmother's ability here. I can simply quest with her. Alright, so Mickey, you're time for some combat. Fairy Godmother, you're going to quest. The ability doesn't help us that much this turn. Tinkerbell did her thing. And I still have a Broom left. And now the queen's going to have to trade if she wants to go to combat. Hypnotize hurts a bit. I wanted the broom. Now Mickey's lost all his brooms. But we still have armor. An armorer, and a sorcerer. I'd say we're in good shape now. Opponent sacrifices the queen for a Mickey. And we're off to the races. We're gonna double armor up our Fairy Godmother. Go to quest. Pass the turn, and we are threatening lethal. With a double armored armorer Godmother. Pete, it's not good enough. The opponent does the manor quest. And we take the win. Making good use of the brooms, good use of our two questers, and overall a great game. Alright, friends on the other side, Brooms, Mickey, Jafar, Isma, Jafar number 2. Friends on the other side. That's a very good hand. Has pretty much everything we need. Probably like Captain Hook in there. But we have some brooms. We have a Mickey. What more can we ask for? Also have the Jafar into his transformed Dreadnought form. You can always go for that line. Depends on what the opponent's playing. Opponent's playing some steel stuff. Cinderella, Stoutheart goes to the ink, and the small Cinderella goes into play, telegraphing quite clearly an Amethyst-Steel Song's deck. The Jafar would do pretty good against Amethyst-Steel Songs. Although I do have some worries about Let the Storm Rage On just taking out a Royal Vizier before he has time to do anything, especially with the Ballroom Dancer on the battlefield. Captain Hook going into the ink pile for our opponent. And a Lilo. Okay, opponent is applying pressure. I think we go for Jafar. Our other option also goes kaboom when faced with Let the Storm Rages On, so there's not much of a difference either way. I like my Jafars. Let the Storm Rage On, right on time. Takes out our Royal Vizier. Apparently his lightning in his hand just isn't strong enough when there's an actual storm coming at him. That doesn't cost a drop of ink for our opponent. Resolve an aerial. Questing with Lilo. Alright, on 3. We get a double cast. We get the Hook and Magic Broom. And Broom can bring back our Jafar or Let the Storm Rage On. I guess Jafar is better. I really don't want to give our opponent more Let the Storm Rage On. Especially not with this board. Let the Storm Rage On again. Really free removal. And it hurts quite a lot. And the Brooms take the hit. At the very least, now Cinderella is exerted, so we should be able to take her out with Captain Hook. Hopefully your opponent doesn't go whole new world right now. But if the opponent quests with Lilo, there is an argument for just taking out the 2-quester. Maybe the opponent is going to run out of Let the Storm Rage On. Another Lilo. And a whole new world. Those draws. That's pretty much a perfect line for an Amethyst-Steel deck on the play. Can we resist it? Can we live through it? Opponent still has more cards to play. Going wide. Very wide. Thankfully we have a Grab Your Sword. And I mean, we're gonna need that to grab that sword. Second, another Isma goes to the ink. Can take out Ariel. Although the opponent has a queen in play. I'm also tempted to just run out of Jafar. Or run out of Mickey, so we get a discount if we draw a bunch of Brooms. Because with the board in that stance, our opponent's either going to Stitch or Whole New World again. Actually, I can stop the Whole New World if I take out Ariel. How much can the opponent quest for? 9. Still a lot of questing power. Still think I need to remove Ariel. Also, she survives the Grab Your Sword. So we're a bit telegraphing our next move. But we're behind here, so we kind of need to do it. So let's go with the Dreadnought. Grabbing our sword on the next turn. Alright, it's the big Stitch line. Which is not great. Opponent can quest for 10 this turn. Devastating amount. Hopefully they quest with the big Stitch. That way we can mitigate the damage. Wipe out their board. It's really our only hope. If the opponent doesn't quest with the Stitch, then he can still draw a ton of cards. Although anything that he plays is going to come in exerted. And it's going to be prime prey for a Dreadnought. Another Queen comes in. And here comes the questing galore. Maybe I should look away. I'm not sure I want to watch this. It hurts. Oh, and Stitch isn't questing. Wise move, my friend. Wise move. Gonna ink our Benja. And we have to hardcast. Have to hardcast Grab Your Sword. Can quest with Jafar. Because why not? Double Let the Storm Rage On, something like that. Small Cinderella comes in, draws a card off of Stitch, draws a card off of her own ability, then discards one. Stitch Rockstar, still a Rockstar in the current meta. Well, mostly as part of that deck. Some devastating power. Can we come back? That's the question I'm asking myself. Leaning heavily towards no. But it's not over. I mean, the Stitch can quest at any time. So this is really 15 to 1. But the opponent doesn't have that much ink. Opponent is considering singing A Whole New World, I imagine. Or singing Grab Your Sword. That would play very well in our favor, because we have our mouse armor. I'm curious. I'm leaning Whole New World at this point. Yeah, there it is. Alright, we find another copy of Grab Your Sword. Actually, 2 copies. As well as a Tinkerbell. We do need to get some singers in play. Cinderella comes in, draws a card off of Stitch. 2834 card count. I need to take one of these out. With Jafar. I don't think we need this one. We need to go at least Beast, if not Tinkerbell. I think Tinkerbell is more desirable here because of her ping back ability. Let's take out Cinderella, the cheaper one. Not that it really matters. Get to draw a card. Opponent can quest to 17. But now Stitch is within reach of Grab Your Sword. Thanks to good old Tinkerbell. But we're on the very back foot here, and at some point we're going to run out of removal, probably before we can quest the victory, and our opponent has a ton of cards in hand. I'm hoping to highlight the Mickeys. That it just hasn't quite happened. Jafar Dreadnought was more necessary at that point in time. And it looks like 3 of our Mickeys and 2 of our Mickeys. And a lot of the Brooms are still remaining in the rest of our library. Oh, opponent decided to go with a big queen. So that will spell the end of Jafar. Another small queen coming in to draw a card. Now there it is. Stitch's big quest. The queens are just getting traded in for extra cards. Oh, and that queen was hard casted actually. So I'm worrying over nothing. 4 power. I have an Elsa Spirit of Winter. That's going to be very helpful. So here we want to sing Grab Your Sword, drop a Beast, and drop a HeiHei, I think? Or a Jafar. Doesn't overly matter. Yeah, we don't have a mouse armor, so we attack whatever has the least power. With Tinkerbell, use her ability to ping the queen. Ah, yeah, we do have to hard cast Grab Your Sword. Bit of a shame. But at least we wipe out everything. Drop a Captain Hook, and play a small Jafar. Which allows us to quest. 17-2. Beginning of a comeback. Comeback that is quite unlikely. Still possible. As long as we don't get triple goated. But all we have is a Grab Your Sword and Elsa Spirit of Winter for questing power on the battlefield. Opponent goes after a big Stitch. That Stitch is lethal. Which means it's going to force out our Elsa. A small Lilo too. Remaining unexerted. Alright, well here our play is pretty straightforward. We ink the HeiHei, drop an Elsa Spirit of Winter, freeze them both, and go to town questing. Then we pass the turn back. This time we do have some options, because we still have the Grab Your Sword, and our opponent has exerted characters. We can make use of Tinkerbell's ability to ping something for 2. We're now at 7 questing lore on the battlefield. Questing pips. Can we come back from this? Against the top deck of the meta. Using Mickey's Steel Will. With no real Mickeys. Opponent sings grab your sword. Takes out our small Jafar. What's remaining for 3? Let the Storm Rage on. That'll take out our Tinkerbell, right? Now we can double challenge the Stitch, let the Lilo to quest, and drop a few more threats to the battlefield. Seems reasonable. Oh, and we top deck a Tinkerbell. That changes things. That allows us to save a bit of flora space and just take out that Lilo. Can also resolve a Benja. And maybe the draw off of that Dreadnought is going to be enough. Another big Stitch. Well, that puts our back against the wall. We really need to draw our second only copy of Elsa, Spirit of Winter. We find a Jafar. And unfortunately, Jafar's not good enough. We can quest. We can grab your sword. But that Stitch is still gonna quest today. And even though we almost came back, because now we have lethal for next turn, the Rockstar is going to sing one final chord and win the game. So close, just not quite enough. Let's see what we get this game. Elsa, pair of Grab Your Swords, Rafiki, Jafar's 3 Grab Your Swords, alright. It's way too many uninkables. Keep Rafiki and Jafar and mulligan the rest. We find a lot of brooms. Alright, let's see if we can get the industrial model of the magic broom to do some work for us. After all, that's what brooms are designed to do, right? There's an Olaf. I don't think we're going to be playing the old version of the magic broom this game. So let's send that one to the ink. Resolve a Captain Hook. Okay, so it's a Ruby Amethyst. Teeth and Ambition take care of our threat, but leaves Olaf with some damage on him. Which was part of the plan all along. Or let's go with that route. Alright, Fairy Godmother will go to the ink. Then we'll resolve a Jafar. Still, Teeth and Ambition is good because it's an early game removal spell for Ruby, but it still leaves 2 damage counter on the opponent's character, which is completely negated by that Madam Fox that just entered play. We have a bit too many 3-drops, so let's ink one of our magic brooms, drop a mouse armor, and make our Jafar just a little bit tougher. Mouse armor just giving resist 1 to whatever character we like once per turn, as the opponent resolves a Rabbit of Doom in the form of Merlin. Something that has 4 power. We could shift the Jafar on top. Give him some mouse armor and draw a card off of taking out Madam Min. Or to play that I slightly prefer in this spot, which I think is just running out the bigger Jafar. So let's take out Madam Min and run out the bigger Jafar. There you have it. Big snake with armor, or very thick snake skin. The Dreadnought. Another Merlin hopping around some cards. You find a Benja, but the opponent hasn't played any items. I don't think that deck plays much in terms of items. Now we have a choice. Do we beast? I think we beast. We could also go Magic Broom, making our Dreadnought essentially immune to any damage from this Merlin, but I think we can take one. So let's start with that. Take out the little bunny. Both players draw a card. Seems like a nice trade when the Viper bites the bunny. Alright, friends on the other side. Nice pickup. We're going to go with a beast. Tragic Hero. Deploying our own card draw engine. Opponent bounces back the bunny, thanks to Madam and Fox, which goes after Dreadnought and just enough power to take it out. And the opponent has a mid full of cards remaining. Spellbook. So that's how you want to play it. Well, our beast allows us to draw more cards. Alright, so here we have to worry about be prepared. Mostly be prepared. I think we hardcast friends on the other side and land our Magic Broom. Not the best use of the Broom. That beast is now Iron Tough. Double resist, thanks to Magic Broom's ability. Even Maui can't take it out. Be prepared. Does the job pretty well, though. As we find another friends on the other side. This time I'm going to resolve a lonely Fairy Godmother and pass the turn back. Hoping to next turn Rafiki and use Fairy Godmother's ability. Assuming the opponent gives us something to challenge. Lady Tremaine forces us to sacrifice the Fairy Godmother. Have you no heart, Lady Tremaine? We draw a Grab Your Sword. Not ideal. Kind of want a Dreadnought and friends. Let's try it. Friends on the other side. Now we find a HeiHei. HeiHei and a hook. Let's ink the hook and play the Jafar. Merlin Goat comes in, getting some lore for our opponent. And the snake's gonna bounce back. The goat or the lady? The goat. Lady Tremaine goes to quest. Spellbook for 1. Alright, if that's how you want to play it. Oh, you can take out the spellbook. We have another Benja. I do want Tinkerbell though. Deal with that Lady Tremaine, draw a card off of Jafar, keeping it alive. That seems like a good play this turn. Almost forcing another Be Prepared and setting up a Grab Your Sword to take out this Madam and Snake next turn. I like this line. Tinkerbell for the ping. Dreadnought with armor. I'll just take 2, thank you very much. And draw a card. Another Tinkerbell. I think I can ink HeiHei at this point. I need to pass the turn back. Jafar Dreadnought doing a lot of work. Opponent cast to Be Prepared yet again. This time we were prepared for this one. The opponent thinks that they can just win off of that spellbook. Well, I've got a word for you, and that word is Benja. Goodbye, spellbook. And let's resolve a beast. Try and counter opponent's card advantage. And I'll pass the turn back. So unless the opponent starts dropping Maleficent after Maleficent, or playing a bunch of goats, or Merlins, actually that could be problematic. Nah, we can grab your sword, Tinkerbell, right? Let's Tinkerbell our way out of this one. Hardcast the Tinkerbell. Sing a Grab Your Sword off of the beast. And all our worries go away into stuff for our opponent. Benja can quest for 2. And let's protect beast, I guess? I'm not sure. Another rabbit comes down. Man, can that deck draw cards? Ooh, and a Minnie Mouse. That's a heavy quester. Opponent's at 15. Find another Grab Your Sword off of the double draw. So I think we just do the same play as last time. Same Grab Your Sword off of, well, it doesn't matter. The other character is going to quest. And drop another Tinkerbell. Tinkerbell still decimating our opponent's dreams. And we can quest with the balance. Now, I think we have sufficient threats on the board that we don't need to deploy anymore. Ursula comes in, drains one of our lore. Draws a card. Not a big fan of Ursula in one-on-ones. I think there are stronger options now. But I think the opponent wants to sing a Be Prepared next turn and then drop off a bunch of characters. Honestly, I'm not sure there's much I can do about that. Not much I can do. I can play Fairy Godmother here. But we really just lose to Be Prepared. Opponent has casted 2 Be Prepareds. Ursula quest for 3. I guess we also lose to some goat shenanigans. I don't know. Yeah. So goat bounce goat kills us. Double goat kills us. Be prepared. I don't think I can play around the be prepared. There's also the option of the opponent just dropping a Maleficent, taking out one of our threats, and dropping another threat. So then we quest for 2, 4, 6. Ursula can take out nothing much, really. Let's just drop the Fairy Godmother in case. But a sung be prepared is lethal. Or the goat shenanigans. Okay, a Maui comes in. Maui's not good enough. We can still quest for 8. And we only need 6. It's promising. I think maybe we have it. Isma comes in, banishes one of our other characters. And that's why we played the Fairy Godmother. In case the opponent just tried to remove 2 threats, which is not good enough. Well, the Fairy Godmother is not doing all of her shenanigans, but she's questing for 2, which in this case is just good enough. And we quest for game. Whew. Close game, but we take the win. I hope that you've enjoyed this video featuring Mickey Mouse and his pair of battle brooms, and all of the drop hours, all of the cool shenanigans that the deck can do, and Jafar Dreadnought, again one of the MVPs of the deck, doing a lot more work than it looks like it should be doing. I'd encourage you to try out the deck at your local game store or on Pixelborn. It's pretty fun to play. It's not a tier 1 deck by any means, and it can probably be optimized by removing Mickey and the Brooms, to be honest. But the mix of having board-wide removal with Grab Your Sword, Tinkerbell, the pressure of strong characters like Jafar and Captain Hook, combining with a handful of mouse armors, is actually a pretty strong combination. Struggles a little bit against high willpower characters, but for the middle game, the deck feels very strong. And then you have access to a lot of these draw spells. You have access to the full playset of Benja, which do feel pretty good. Maybe increasing the Spirit of Winter's count to 3 would do the deck some good. But I'm not going to overanalyze all the details of the deck based on the gameplay at this point. I'll just hope that you've enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below what you'd like to see me cover next. And don't forget to add a thumbs up to the video. Thumbs up really helps to promote the channel and promote the content so that I can produce more of it. Again, I hope you've had a great time, and I will see you next time.